I guess so. I think I missed it last year. Oh, here it is. Last spring. Yeah, I did design. I came over in the program and my grandmother's was here. So I got two of them. And I got court certificates. And then he was able to take it back and prove some of the things that were proven that SAR standards. PAR. So, and then waited. He knows. Yes, the past applicant's resistance.
Nothing to pass that, even though we
There was one generation that's gotten with all the automation now and the records database and stuff, maybe it's going to be
We're going to get started here in about a minute.
Now, one thing I was going to say.
yeah, it's now for the 30 seconds. Delay the transfer as long as possible.
I think I should tell you, I'm going to withdraw that.
How about
I have changed it here. Yeah. What I'm going to do
Nick, good evening. See if I break anything here. Thanks for everybody coming out this evening, and I think this is one of our largest meetings and certainly our largest new member induction meeting, probably on record for the chapter. So really exciting to see everyone and come out and enjoy the evening here. So with that, Larry, could I get everyone to rise?
Let's pray. Eyes of all, wait upon you, O Lord, and you give them the food in due season. You open wide your hand and satisfy the needs of every living creature. For this and all is mercy, may God's holy name be thanked and praised.
Amen.
Please remain standing. Charles, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Jordan, would you lead us in the SAR pledge? It's on your program.
of the heroes of the American Revolution, who by their sacrifices established the United States of America, reaffirm our faith in the principles of liberty, our constitutional republic, and solemnly pledge ourselves to defend and protect our republic.
Thank you. Please be seated. So again, special evening tonight, and I would like to acknowledge a couple of guests that drove in out of town, and everyone else that came with them. Please rise. But Steve McGee, the president of the North Carolina SAR, and Craig Isaacson. We're honored to have busy schedules and many miles, you know.
It's all downhill.
Here. But really look forward to a great evening, and thanks for everyone else coming out as well. Tom has upgraded me to a book here, so I think, see if I can stay on track here. But we would like to, since this is the annual membership meeting, and we've transitioned a lot of our other meetings to like a historical speaker series and everything, so this is kind of the business meeting, but an important part of that is the election of officers. And to do that, we need to do this first because it's very exciting. Like I said, we've got the largest induction ceremony that we've had to date. So with that, I would like to, when I call your name, please come forward, kind of stand in front of this table. But we would love to swear you in as new members of the Sons of the American Revolution. A.P. Brown, Henry DeRolf, Nathaniel Ure, Randy Humphreys, Vance Patterson, Larry Pearson, Anthony Filial, Douglas Swing, and Isaac Triplett. And if I could get maybe Tom and Mike to come forward, because I'm going to need your help. So, wow, that's pretty impressive. That's like about the chapter strength when I first joined. So, but we're really pleased to have you here this evening. So I will read a few words here, and you can say I do, and we will work you into our chapter. Compatriots, do you, as a descendant of one of the patriots and heroes of the American Revolution, reaffirm your ancestors' faith and the principles of liberty and our constitutional republic?
I do.
And will you pledge to support the National Society Sons of the American Revolution? There's a few hooks on that, we'll get to that later. But, I now take great pleasure in presenting your membership certificates. And I'll tell you what, how shall we do this? You went on. I'll let Mike and Tom hand these out real quick. All right, outstanding, thank you. I now take great pleasure in presenting your membership certificates that you've received. In the small blue bag, you'll find it when you take that out. We're presenting to you the members of mini medal, rosette, lapel pin, and 2 challenge coins that we hope that you will keep one each, but pass the word and recruit another member. This rosette is the official recognition emblem of the Sons of the American Revolution. Its blue and buff colors represent the colors in the uniform worn by General George Washington. Wear it proudly, compatriot. We welcome you to the chapter. We ask that you work with us to fulfill the purposes and objectives of the Sons of the American Revolution. So welcome, and you are members. But before everyone jumps down, first I'm going to ask Robert Patton. I believe he has a little adder for one of the members, so you'll have to debate the others, but
I'm sorry, I'm gonna create a little jealousy among our new members. I have a small gift for my grandson Isaac, and it's actually 2 small gifts. And for those of you that are joining right now, I would expect you to carry on this tradition with your children and grandchildren. So this is a box lock screw barrel pistol that there are a pair of. And so Isaac, I'm going to give you 2 pistols tonight, and I encourage all of you to do something similar with your children and grandchildren. You can put both of them right here. But I hope I've made the rest of them jealous. I'm jealous.
that's excellent. That's excellent. You can adopt me later. That's going to be a lot. Thank you, Robert, but very, very special to share something like that. I would at this time, does anyone have any short words that you would like to address the group here of your fellow compatriots? Either something about your patriot or what the SAR means to you?
Well, what I wanted to say was, and my ancestor was Daniel Turner, who was a rifleman in the Pennsylvania Revolutionary Army. But what is kind of also interesting is my wife's side of the family. She was a Mayhew. Her mother was a Mayhew. And Governor Mayhew came over in 1691 on one of the Mayflower trips. There was more than one Mayflower trip over. And he was the owner of, Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket. And on his deathbed, he was awarding or giving out property to his family. Most of them were sons. They were all missionaries. And the last one was the daughter, the little girl. And her nickname was Nan. And there was an island left, and he gave it to her, and Nantucket. And that's a family legend that they like to tell. Also, Governor Thomas was the editor of the Bay Palm book, Psalm book, which was the first published book in the British North America. And his assistant was Peter Folger, who was the grandfather of Benjamin Franklin. And finally, his descendant, Jonathan Mayhew, was a prominent minister in Boston. And during a sermon, he is the one who quoted, "No taxation without representation." So in more current time, Mary Jo and I have a foundation that does the charters and freedom settings across the country. We dedicated one yesterday in Greene County, North Carolina. That was the 46th one in North Carolina. The first one, of course, was here in Morganton. It was dedicated back July 2nd, 2014, with a lot of help from one of our compatriots, Ron Lewis. To date, we have dedicated and gifted 75 charters of freedom settings across the country in North Carolina, South Carolina, Kentucky, Indiana, Illinois, Nebraska, South Dakota, Missouri, Iowa, Virginia, Florida, Plains, Georgia for Jimmy Carter, California in Simi Valley for Ronald Reagan, and as far north as Wasilla, Alaska. And we've got another one that we're dedicating on Saturday up in Wisconsin. So if you're in the area, please stop in. Thank you. And it's a real honor to be a member of the group here, so thank you for that.
All right, I'll just tell a little story. I guess others of you up here have fallen prey to Tom Lesser's offer to make it painless to join the SAR. So Tom said it would be painless, and sure enough, it was painless. So the process included a couple of surprises for me. One was I expected that my ancestor would be X and the route would be through my grandmother as a member of the DAR. So Tom sent me a packet of information, opened it on my computer, and there was my mother's DAR application. Didn't expect that. And it was through a different ancestor, a different patriot. And it was George Moffett up in Stanton, Virginia. And the application was signed, my mother's application was signed May of 1948. George Moffett is the patriot ancestor. Well, a month later, in June of 1948, my sister was born, Moffett Swain. So I told her that story and she was dumbfounded.
Well, when you're not put on the spot, maybe at the next meeting, if you have any thing you would like to say, we're always open, and it's always some great stories and everything. But I would say hats off to Tom and all of his genealogists and everything. So it's done a great job and lightened a heavy lift sometimes. So thank you. Thank you and welcome. So everybody, please, round of applause. So next, I would like to take this time and recognize several compatriots and associates. So much like the new members and everything, with greater participation, we have greater recognition for the great achievements that the chapter has done over these years and everything. So I would first like to welcome up Nick Anderson and Tom Lesser. As they're coming up, just kind of get this moving along or whatever, but so they're both being awarded the Henry Knox Achievement Medal. Henry Knox, I don't know if you knew him, but somehow got all of the cannons out of Fort Ticonderoga through the wilderness and broke the siege of Boston. So a lot of hard work and against all odds and everything. And so both Tom and Nick exemplify this characteristic and hard work and achievement, and grateful. So thank you. Next, if I could have Charles Woody come up, please. So now I'm going to present the Roger Sherman Commendation Medal. So I don't know if you know, but Roger Sherman was, his great feat is he's the only signator, I believe, on all 4 key documents, being Declaration of Independence and everything. And while he's our treasurer, his hand is in everything, and soon to be more. So with that, I thought it was very fitting, and I greatly appreciate your service and what you're going to do next. Next, I would like Hank Dickens to come up. I know he's here. So, Hank, I'm very pleased to present to you the meritorious. You haven't heard what it's for? No, I'm just kidding. But no, this medal, I think Hank was one of the first people I talked to whenever I joined about 5 years ago and everything. But he's always, yeah, we've hung out a little bit since then. But he's been awarded this medal, who has rendered long, faithful, and great service to the chapter. And he's always there when the phone call comes in and everything, and just really appreciate the camaraderie and everything. Don't know, did Pat Wells speak in? Oh, okay, so We are, I'll go ahead and read it out and everything, but Pat Wells, Quaker Meadows, DAR, I can't remember titles, regent or retired regent now. But Ed has done some outstanding partnerships with us, and we wanted to recognize her with the Lydia Dara Medal. So maybe I can hand that to you, Becca, and yeah, thank you very much. And then I'm gonna call Becca right back up here. So, again, with Quaker Meadows, I don't know if we want to call her a liaison or do everything, but I believe that she has attended every single event we've ever had in the last few years and probably got us to attend several more. So thank you, but we want to recognize her with the Martha Washington Medal, and it's our highest award we can give. But thank you very much. She's really driven us to new levels and on many things. Next, I believe when I joined about 5 years ago, I might have been about the youngest one here, but it's our demographics are changing, and so which is a good thing. So I would like to ask Alex Fleming, Kevin Roney, David White, if he's here, Willie Wilkerson, and Sam Woody to come forward, please. So again, part of being younger is you have much busier schedules, I believe. But no, we just wanted to recognize you all as young members with a medal, and it's awarded to anyone who's 40 years older or younger. And the recipient shall have exhibited continuing exemplary service to the society at the chapter level, especially focus on leadership and service to youth and young members. So very active in the color guard and a new officer to boot. So very excited. So congratulations. Thank you all. I always forget about the pictures. And so next, thank you. We've been building quite the militia and everything, but I would like to recognize a few individuals in the chapter color guard certificate for the chapter. This is awarded to individuals in our chapter who participated in either colonial dress or uniform in a minimum of 5 events in a previous year. So I think up until the swearing in, we probably had about 30-40% in color guard. So again, it's our marketing, it's our PR, and it might be a little fun to find out. So I would like to ask these to come forward, please, to receive your certificate. Kevin Alec, Bill Brown, Al Ernest, Kevin Hancock, John Lafferty, Tom Lesser, Jordan Levermilk, Ken Lucky, Eric Minicola, Robert Patton, Kevin Roney, and Willie Wilkerson. I'll hold this and we can get a picture. So thank y'all. And there's a small investment that they all make to do this as well. But I think once you start, sometimes you get a little addicted to it. So thank you. You may all be seated. Next, SAR anniversary certificates. Clark Irwin, 50 years. Scott Coley, 10 years. Rob Denton, 10 years. Don't think any of those made it here this evening. And I did make it 5, so. Yeah. And last but least, Supplemental Patriot, just go through the paperwork and everything. So Tom Lesser, if you can come forward, please. like filling out one application wasn't done, so.
This was an easy one. He's the son-in-law of my original patriot. So the level line was proven, you just had to prove his service, and that was easy. So this was an easy one to do.
I'm glad you did get it documented there. And then I would like to ask 4 people to come forward. Past President Robert Patton, soon to be future President Tom Lesser, Steve McKee, and Craig Isaacson. What could it be? So it's kind of like a mystery gift or whatever. So I was sworn that I had found the original musket ball from the first, firing on Lexington Green. Got 4 of them somehow, but but small token of appreciation for the 250th thing here. So the glass on the musket ball, 1776, 250th anniversary. Thank you, sir. I was on my son back. Yeah. I appreciate. Yeah. But I appreciate all the hard work and the soon to be more future work. And I know you don't drink, but But thank you all for coming and everything you have done and everything you will do. So I really appreciate it. Thanks. With that, I believe now I am supposed to give you my outgoing president's address. And so gave some thoughts and I typed it up and then realized I moved to Indiana like last Saturday, FYI. So I realized I didn't have a printer. So then I quickly grabbed a Sharpie and some old paper and wrote a note here. So hopefully it's coherent. But no, I sincerely, I just want to thank everyone here and all the compatriots and everything. It's been an outstanding 2-year experience, a few hours in it, but really they've all been crazy enjoyable. And, when I took this role, I was a little leery just on time and what needed to be done and what could be done. And I don't know if everyone remembered my first meeting, but I talked about eating the elephant 1 bite at a time. And could everyone just take a small bite out of that elephant, please, so I didn't have to eat the whole thing. And it really, really did come together. Memberships expanded, participation, but it's really turned out spectacular, and it's really from everyone stepping forward when we needed to do what we needed to do, and really appreciate it. And again, the list of awards, it's just recognizing really part of the contributions from everyone. So really, really appreciate it. And if you don't believe you're doing a good job, I believe we're 4 years running the top 2 small chapters in the nation being recognized by national. So we're doing some good things, but I would say there's probably more things we could do, but I think it's just been outstanding. And so if everybody would give an applause to everyone, because I'm going to give one to you, so please do so. And with that, just a little note of our success and everything, as we move forward. But really, it is our mission, education, preserving history, and inspiring patriotism. A lot of the events are fun, but it's just great that we can represent, the founding principles that all of our patriots fought for at crazy great odds and risk. And as we move into the 250th anniversary, I'm just going to ask for more, but please get out there and participate. But pretty special year, and I get through all the politics and everything, but I remember the last great celebration as a small kid, and it'd be great to get some of these events out there going and do a great job in the future, and just keep the traditions and the real ideals alive. And so the next, with that, I think, read the rest of my notes here, but I said there were some hooks for the new attendees, and that's the hooks. So I'm going to ask that all of you participate just a little bit, but you don't have to eat the elephant all by yourself, but just one step at a time. But most importantly, I do believe you got to have fun at it, and find what's fun for you and stick with that. With that, now, talking about the future and what needs to be done, I think my name's on there at one point or whatever, but for the most part, I'm really excited about this slate of officers for nomination and to carry this mission forward. So I will read all of these, but they believe they're on the back of your program, the ones that I read. But the nominations to be voted on this evening, and currently they're unopposed. For president, Tom Lesser, 2-year term. First vice president, president-elect Charles Woody, 2-year term. Second vice president, Jordan Lettermilk, 2-year term. Secretary, Sam Woody. Assistant secretary, any names? Treasurer, Charles Woody, but his term ending in December 31st, 2025. Treasurer, Gary Kling, term beginning January 1st, 2026. Assistant Treasurer, Vance Patterson. Registrar, Chuck Shear. Assistant Registrar, Mike Carpenter. Historian, Kevin Hancock. Assistant Historian, Nick Anderson. Chaplain, Larry Britt. Sergeant at Arms, Bill Brown. Deputy Sergeant at Arms, Kevin Rodney. Color Guard Commander, Eric Minatola. Deputy Color Guard Commander, Jim Theofrest. Genealogist, Tom Lesser. And Assistant Genealogist, Bill Brown. So I must personally, this is outstanding, almost too deep in every position. And talk about eating the elephant, it becomes manageable and everything. And it gives us good succession planning. That's one of my things when I came in. We have to keep turning this over even if we jump back in at some point and do another function. So that is the slate. At this time, any additional nominations to any office can be made by any chapter member. Are there any nominations from the floor?
I move the nominations closed.
Second to that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. With that, if there's no nominations, then we will vote. All in favor? Aye. Yeah. So be it. So I believe they are all official now. So now I'm going to run out the door. No, I'm just kidding. But with that, move into installing officers. So if I could ask Craig Isaacson.
We've escorted our new president in, they elected to the position here. Mr. Escort. This is Tom Lesser.
This is.
This is, okay, thank you. President-elect Thomas Lesser, having been duly elected to the office in the Colonel Alexander Irwin chapter, Sons of the American Revolution, do you promise and swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution and bylaws of the National Society, Sons of the American Revolution, and do you further promise and swear that you will faithfully discharge the duties of your office to the best of your knowledge and ability, and that you will, at all times, conduct yourself in a manner worthy of our society, so help you God.
I do.
President-elect Lesser, it is my privilege to present to you the gavel. It's on its way. Freshly carved. Here's the gavel. As a symbol of the authority now vested in you, wield it always with dignity and honor. And also with this, the President's ribbon. I hope you're better than I am, and I'll have mine sitting on the desk tonight. You are, sir. Congratulations on the office. Now, will the other officers that have been duly elected please come up here and stand next to the President? Okay, we'll go through the same oath. Having been duly elected to the offices in the Colonel Alexander Irwin Chapter, Sons of the American Revolution, do all of you promise and swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution and bylaws of the National Society, Sons of the American Revolution, and do you further promise and swear that you will faithfully discharge the duties of your office to the best of your ability and knowledge, and that you will at all times conduct yourselves in a manner worthy of the society, so help you God. At this time, it is my privilege to present you as officers to your chapter. Compatriots of Colonel Alexander Chapter, I have officially installed these new officers that were duly elected by you, and I now remind you of your obligation to them. Assist, support, and encourage them in the discharges of their duties, thus furthering the principles and purposes of the Sons of the American Revolution.
Gary? Vance. Nick? Well, welcome and thank you very much.
I want to address this gentleman right here. Kevin has become a good friend. He's one of these guys that stand-up dude, you can count on him. He has led this chapter in an amazing way with all of your help. With Tom, I look forward to this chapter continuing to grow. I'm a member of the Blue Ridge chapter. I'll tell you what, I've never had more fun to work with two separate chapters that have got so much originality, so much dedication, and exemplify the National Society Sons of the American Revolution. I look forward to working with all of you for the rest of your term. And this guy, you stole my successor. This guy may very well be the next VP. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Steve?
All right, so for those of you that don't know, I'll be talking to you here in a little bit after dinner. I'm Stephen McKee, I'm the North Carolina State Society President. But this is an award for Kevin Hancock in appreciation for your distinguished service as chapter president from 2023 to 2025 of the Colonel Alexander Irwin chapter, presented by your chapter as well as your past president's pen. So congratulations, sir.
And no one, I think, in this room has worked closer with Kevin than I have over the past 2 years. It's been a real honor and a real learning experience. And I don't know what you get for someone who is just moved away. But what I have for you, Kevin, this is a wood relic from Liberty Hall when it was renovated at the end of the 1800s. So it's a piece of wood from Liberty Hall in Philadelphia. Thank you. That's the way technology works. The minute I think I'm going to do a presentation, the screen goes up. And now we'll see if I can get a projector. First, thank you. Thank you for the faith you've shown in me. Thank you for all your help. I don't think there's a person in this room who hasn't helped me out at some point. So thank you very much. And I would just like to say, we all owe Kevin a big huzzah! 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 Just a little bit about our chapter for everyone. The chapter is growing. We added 15 new members so far this year. And for a chapter, as Kevin said, when he joined a few years ago, that was probably about the size of the chapter. So that's pretty amazing. Kevin mentioned as a small chapter, we've led the nation. Well, I've got bad news for you. We're no longer a small chapter. We're now a medium chapter. So we have to do all that much more to lead the nation. Membership is getting younger. Now, Sam Woody is the secretary. His birth year begins with a 2. Now, I was going to say he was born in the 21st century, but many of you know my background is in physics and astronomy, so I know that the year 2000 was in the 20th century. So I couldn't say he was born in the 20th century, but he was born after the turn of the digits, so that tells you something.
Just keep it up.
Why do we have 50 members? Why are we getting younger? There's a simple answer. Everyone just asks a man if he's interested in joining. And then we have made it as simple as possible. As many of you in this room know, all we ask of applicants, first, tell us your name, your birthday, where you were born, the names of your parents. That's the minimum. If you know where they were born and their birthday, great. At some point, we're going to ask you for your birth certificate. That's what we start with. We do all the research. We fill out the application because we know what a pain in the neck it is. And we don't want to discourage people by having to run the roadblocks. But the first step that you can do, every one of you can do it, is ask somebody if they'd be interested in becoming a member of the Sons of the American Revolution. And then you have to be able to explain what that is. So that's part of your job. We have, the chapter has a huge increase in visibility. The man standing back there is responsible for 99.44% of that. On Facebook, he now created a website for us. He does the newsletter. He sends out press releases. That visibility brings in members. One of the other things that has brought in members, and this is another thing that Kevin Hancock initiated, by making our monthly meeting public and educational presentations. The public shows up, And guess what? Every now and again, somebody says, boy, that seems like an interesting group. So, congratulations on that. We're in better financial health. Better financial health. There are several reasons for that. One is Charles Woody, who's back there, and Charles became acting treasurer before he became a member, so that's pretty amazing. But he's done a lot of things to improve our health, and Robert Patton and Kevin Hancock have established an endowment fund for the chapter to help keep our finances going. Our goal is anyone should be able to be president. That doesn't mean that the president has to be able to lay out his own money, $1,000, $2,000 a year, just to accomplish what we want to accomplish. So by having better health financially, it removes that roadblock. Kevin touched on the succession planning. And this, to me, is a testament to many of you, that so many of these positions are filled now. It's very, Kevin Alec knows, it's very difficult to say, hi, Kevin, you want to be registrar? And he says yes, and then he finds out, oh my God, what did I get into? So by having someone, now it's Chuck Shear, he's the registrar, by having Mike Carpenter, who's sitting over here, as his assistant, Mike is learning. Chuck is currently in the Ukraine on a ministry there. Haven't heard from him, but I assume he's okay. But this way, when Chuck decides he wants to do something else in the chapter, it's not, oh good, who's going to be registrar? Mike will be trained. And it's very important that we do that. We have Charles Woody, who's going to be treasurer through the end of the year because he wanted to do the dues so that Gary Kling could see how to do the dues and reconciliation. And Vance is going to be our assistant treasurer, so there he is over there. You were behind the flag, I'm sorry. So that, he can learn the process of what we do. I do have a piece of business that I have to attend to. I won't read you all of this because I hate when people do PowerPoints and then read what they say. But basically our bylaws say that at this meeting, the president, who doesn't know officially he's going to be elected until this meeting, has to tell you who he's going to appoint to the executive committee who are representing other organizations. Here's the list. Becca Heathcock Becca, Linda Lindsay, Brian Lindsay, Sylvia Bedford, who's now the regional director, and some guy named Robert Patton who hangs around, and I'm not quite sure what he does with his days, but he is the president of Historic Burke Foundation. So those are the people that I am going to appoint. I have now officially fulfilled my duty under the bylaws. Now for the more fun part. How did I end up here? And I was wondering, what slide do I do? What do I do to illustrate how I ended up here? And I wasn't sure that this was the right one, but it touched many points. It all started with Joshua Wyeth, who was 16 years old, an unknown person in Boston, who participated in a little party with tea. Now, Joshua Wyeth was the first person to do a public recorded interview about the Boston Tea Party. And he was the first one to use that term in print. He's a Wyeth, a relative of mine, but not my patriot. My patriot is Noah Wyeth. And if you know the Wyeth name because there were some artists with that name, same family. Noah Wyeth and only 12 of his kin were in the militia, so when the British attacked Lexington and Concord, they showed up, and all of the brothers and cousins and sons showed up, and 12 of them took up arms on that day. Noah Wyeth was a bricklayer. As far as I know, he spent 2 days on this, and then he went back to laying bricks. Many of you may know me because I've worked on your application. And as I've said to many of you, I know more about your family when I work on your application than you do. But I also have to tell you that I forget your family once I'm done. I can't keep it all in my head. I understand you want to come up and ask me a question, but I don't remember. Email me the question, I can look it up, but I can't answer the question. You may also know that I designed the chapter logo, which became the chapter coin, the chapter flag, which I also designed. When Nick posts infographics on the Facebook page, I did the infographics. And a lot of the certificates that we give out, I designed those. And it's always encouraging to design my own certificate and get awarded a certificate. But you may know me for that. I'm also a member of the SAR National Special Projects Team for the Patriot Research System. The Patriot Research System is the database where we keep patriots and members' information. I've been working on this for 3 years, and there's a whole team who's working on it. It was a real mess. We're cleaning it up. So far, between that and all the work I do, I've added over 300 new patriots. Many of you saw my presentation on Patriot Women, which added 250 women. 25 new biographies, 30 new cemeteries. That's probably changed because I worked on them today. And I've worked on over 55,000 applications and some 40,000 patriots. So I know a little bit about that, and when something shows up that I don't understand, I really wonder what's going on. So now my background. A lot of you see me and know nothing about me. I went to Dowling College, a small college on Long Island, which is now gone out of business. My undergraduate major was physics and astronomy. I got my doctorate from NYU in innovation and change in organizations. How do you get an organization to change? I have a certificate from the John Paul Getty Trust, Museum Management Institute, University of California, Berkeley. And that was obviously museum management. I've evaluated grants for NASA. I've evaluated websites, back in the day, films, and books for the American Association for the Advancement of Science. And I co-authored the American Museum of Natural History and How It Got That Way, which is the authoritative book on that institution, which is one of the largest museums in the world. And I did that because I worked at the American Museum of Natural History, although I wrote the book years later. I started out at the American Museum Hayden Planetarium, where I oversaw all their public programming. I designed and oversaw the installation of what was at the time, the world's largest computer-controlled multimedia system. That's what's on the cover of AV Communications. I worked on a little project you've heard of called Jurassic Park. I've lectured all over the world, including on the Queen Elizabeth II. The Congregation of Christian Brothers, which is a Catholic religious order, awarded me their Founders Medal. And back in the early to mid-90s, which was the early days of the web, I designed websites that have won a number of awards. That's where I learned all this stuff. Some of you know that I disappear twice a year to Paris. Steve was on the call when I was on the call from Paris for the Congress meeting at 1 in the morning. And that's because of my wife, Mary. Her father was born in France. She's not a member of the DAR because all of her relatives came here much later. We tried really hard, but they came here much later. On one of my trips to Paris, I went to the graveyard where Lafayette is buried, which I thought was funny because the President General, when they went, didn't go to the graveyard because it's only open occasionally. And I left on his grave one of our chapter patches. So that brings up the question, where do we go from here? It's not my chapter. It's our chapter. Unlike some of the past presidents, and I'm not going to do everything. I'm too old. I get too tired too easily. There's too much to do. We're only going to do what you can do. Right now, we don't do a lot of veterans programs. It's not that I have anything against veterans. If somebody shows up tonight and says, Tom, veterans speak to me, I want to do veteran programs, great. We'll do veterans programs. If retiring American flag speaks to you, we'll do retiring flag, or we'll do anything you want to do within reason. You just have to be willing to either lead the effort or at least participate in the effort. Kevin tried to steal this, but I won't let him. My mentor taught me many things, but this was the most important thing he taught me. We can do anything, but we can't do everything. As Steve McGee will tell you, the SAR will soak up 25 hours out of your 24-hour day. So we can't do everything. Recruiting new members has to be one of our primary internal objectives. Without new members, the chapter dies. We need to always get younger. Why? Because some of us are old enough that we're not going to be around someday, so having younger members is important. We need to do some other programs for them. New member orientation, mentorship. We need to have social gatherings. We do a little bit of that informally now. And also we need to do some instruction on research and documentation and applications. And there's a rumor that the chapter's genealogist is going to do that, but he hasn't found time in his schedule to get back to it. But as soon as I do, we will. We still need lots of chairs and coordinators for things. So if you're willing to do something, let me know. There are 2 offices open. If you're interested in either, let me know. The chaplain may require a certain type of person. I understand not everyone's cut out to be a chaplain. The assistant secretary, I think almost anybody could do. A lot of you have heard me and seen me do this. You know what we should do? Doesn't work that way. If we should do it, you have to help. I can think of lots of things we should do. But I can't do them all, and I'm not going to say that you should do them just because I think we should do them. One example of that is we need you to help man the chapter table at the Revolutionary War encampment that's coming up.
Just talk loud.
I'll grab it.
Well, I'll tell you a secret. This is off-spring. The Hayden Planetarium in New York City used to have a 75-foot dome. Put all the 700 first and second graders into the dome. It's a strange room. Turn out the lights. All you have to control them is your voice. Now, we did have a microphone, but I can probably project. But we need you to help out at the table. If you want to say, oh, Nick has a sign-up sheet. So if you haven't signed up, sign up. Consider attending the state meeting. Now it's in March, so you've got lots of time to put it on the calendar. The state meeting is open to everybody. Attend the state meeting. I wouldn't suggest you attend the Board of Management meeting because it's Saturday. If you want, you could, but it's a little late notice, although it's been up on the screen for previous meetings, so you don't really have an excuse. And also, next year, the National Congress, that's the national meeting for SAR, is here in North Carolina. We are hosting it. A number of people from this chapter, and Steve McGee and others, are on the committee that's planning it. So plan on attending. It'll be the least expensive Congress for you to attend. You can go for a day, you can stay at a hotel and stay several days. Plan on attending. Write the dates down. Oh, look. Did you hear all that? Or should I read it? Write the dates down, plan on attending, and consider volunteering. You don't need to know what you're doing in order to volunteer. There are a lot of tasks that you can learn very quickly. Believe me, they have people who've been going to congresses for the past few years to learn how to do some of the stuff. But you can volunteer, and there'll be a sign-up sheet that'll be launched soon on the state website. We're coming up on 2026, the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. There is no better time to be involved. Questions? Anyone have questions? no questions. That always bothered me when I was teaching. Somebody that had questions. They either didn't understand or they were tired and wanted to give up. So if they're ready, I'm ready.
Get ready.
Okay, so it's time for me to shut up and for you to eat. I'm just gonna start with Steve McKee's table so that he can eat. Buffet is over there, and then if we can just go around the room, who's ever eating, please do so, and we'll be back with you in a bit. Thank you. Sorry about that. So Steve McKee is the president of our state society. I don't know what one can say about Steve and Lynn. I think they're involved in some type of activity 6 weekends out of every month. And now that he's president, probably 8 days out of every week. So I don't know how he does it, although he is one of those younger people. So without any further ado, I appreciate you being here. I asked Steve to come because I think it's important for the chapter members to hear from the state president what he thinks the state and the national SAR should be doing. So Steve, go ahead.
Thank you, sir. So as he said, my name is Steve McKee. I'm the state president of North Carolina Blind Society for this year and next year is kind of what we got slated from a state perspective. One thing I do want to say is congratulations to the Colonel Alexander Irwin chapter. You've heard it a couple of times. As a small chapter, you guys are one of the leading chapters in the nation as far as that host of activities that you do every year that accomplishes the mission of the Sons of the American Revolution. Okay? I was at the Congress in Connecticut this July, and I will tell you, it warms my heart to hear North Carolina punching well above our weight class as far as the size of societies because the efforts of chapters exactly like yours. So please continue to do what you're doing. It has been mentioned, right? You passed that 49-member threshold, so now you're in the welterweight division, if you will, right? You're a medium-sized chapter. And so continue to do what you're doing. You will still be competitive at the medium chapter level. Anything that you can think of that is related to history, to veterans, to accomplishing the mission of the Sons of the American Revolution, there is a place for it on your Americanism report to document that you guys have done the work of the Sons of the American Revolution. One of the things that Tom asked me to do is to talk about the direction I would like to see the state go in for the 250th, right? That's one of those, it's a distinct honor and pleasure for me to lead the state society into the 250th anniversary of these United States. When I was elected in April, when I told the folks that were at the annual meeting, this is our once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to really do this and do it well. Okay? I am a spring chicken in the SAR, and I'm 45 years old, which means that I'll be 96 at the tricentennial, if I make it, okay? So really, even counting me, this is a more than likely, even though I've got long-lived people in my family, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And though I was born at the tail end of the bicentennial, it seems to me the country was a lot more excited, a lot more energetic. Everybody wanted to participate in the bicentennial in the 70s and 80s. And truth be told, I just don't feel that energy in our country right now. Now, there's a lot of factors that go into that. One of the biggest things I would like to see our society do, especially with our sisters and the daughters of the American Revolution, is we need to lead that effort in making sure that a government founded on the principles of liberty, of limited power, and the consent of the governed, right, survives not just to celebrate 250 years, but for the next 250 years as well. And if we don't do that now, it is my fear that if we fumble the ball here in the semi-quincentennial, it may not get to the tricentennial. Okay? We seem to live on a diet of self-loathing as a country. And you cannot do that and survive going forward or even inspire young people to believe in these United States, to believe in the principles that these United States were founded on, and recognize that of all of the faults, right, any warts that we may have, we are still the greatest country in the history of the world. And I believe that our best days still remain ahead of us. And if we can keep a focus on that, then our organization should be at the forefront of leading the 250th anniversary celebrations. Everybody in this room has done a great job with that. Right? I've been to many of your events. I've seen you at events across the state and even in some other states as well. So what I would encourage everybody to do is find out where your passions, where your skill set can really be utilized in the mission of the SAR. If you're good with graphics design, right? Design the flyers for your chapter. If you're a people person, go out there and make those contacts and find new events. There's one of the beautiful things about North Carolina is, now South Carolina had the most battles and skirmishes of the Revolution, more than any other state. But North Carolina had over 200. And I promise we don't do 200 commemorative events here in North Carolina. It feels that way sometimes. But recognize that there are other things that we can be out there celebrating and right outside your front door. Right, so find those things, make those contacts, bring it in, and let's celebrate the 250th the way it ought to be celebrated. Now, I've just been in the SAR for 10 years in July, and it's funny, you were giving out that bronze younger members medal. 3 years into the SAR, 2018, I bumped into the President General of our National Society, Larry Guzzi, at the Battle of Cowan's Ford commemoration down the road in Huntersville. And he asked me if I wanted to be on the Younger Members Committee. And I said, sure. And so I was the chairman of that committee one year and actually designed that medal. And I've never seen one in person. But so even 3 years in, for those of you that just joined now and for you younger men, there are places in the SAR for you to get involved. And you may make a mark that you had no idea that's what you were getting into. Volunteer for Congress. Lynn and I have gone to the Congress for the last 2 years, the one in Pennsylvania and then the one this year in Connecticut. It's a good time. It's an expensive time. Don't let the sticker shock get you. And you're going to look at it and you're going to say, holy smokes, that's a lot of money. What I would encourage you to understand is that registration fee gets you into, I guess, the big soirees, if you will, the big dinners that occur in Congress. But you get to meet compatriots from all over the country. And you get to help showcase the Old North State in front of the nation for the nation's 250th birthday. Now, we don't necessarily have a big speaker lined up, and I'm not going to share names of people that are being kicked around, but some pretty significant, historically relevant names are being kicked around as a potential speaker for the 250th Congress. Other things that we're going to be doing, we're going to be doing short tours and long tours of places like Guilford Courthouse, historic Hillsborough, Old Salem, all of the things in and around Greensboro, but that's also an opportunity to showcase Burke County history in front of the nation as well, right? There are things that people will stick around after Congress and go to see, and so that's a chance to do that local pitch. Tell people what's here, tell people what's revolutionary here to come see, and they can come see it as well. Other things, volunteering for Congress, I've done that. The last 2 Congresses, I've done registration as well as credentialing. And one of the beautiful things is as a member, you're in good standing. I want to make sure North Carolina has all of our delegates at the Congress in North Carolina. So if you are even maybe sort of thinking about going, let us know at the state so we can get you on the list. Other things going on. Our new President General, Mike Elston, he's from Virginia. Very young, very energetic by SAR standards. And his idea is to bring the SAR into the 21st century to really leverage technology, social media, things that young people are interested in and the way young people get their information to grow our membership. And if we're not growing, we're dying, right? As a organization that depends on members as the lifeblood of the organization, I will tell you for the last 3 or 4 years, our membership has been flatlining or slightly declining. Now, we've seen an uptick with the 250th coming in, and that's good, but the biggest challenge that we face in that, right, we're bringing in all kinds of new members, And North Carolina has done remarkably well with new membership growth for the last 3 or 4 years, especially in partnering with the DAR. We're absolutely trouncing the nation in our partnership with our sisters in the DAR and getting new members through the DAR. Retention, retention, retention. That's the big message. For every member that we gain, a lot of times we lose a member as well. Why do we lose members? For a lot of folks, if you're not a self-starter, you don't know where to get involved again, right? So make sure you're reaching out to your fellow compatriots, your brothers, inviting them to meetings, right? These meetings here in Morganton are always well attended. I think this is my second or third time being here. You guys always have a great crowd, and that's awesome. But check up on each other. Make sure that it's like, hey, are you going to a meeting next month? Right? Hey, this event is coming up. Would you like to carpool? Talk to other compatriots in the state. We need to find out, one, what our compatriots are interested in, two, put those passions to work in accomplishing the SAR's mission. So retention is going to be the big thing. I challenged the state this year at our Winter Board of Managers meeting in January that our goal, I didn't say retain everybody, I said we should lose less than 100 members from the state this year. And I asked the assembled chapter presidents, do we think we could do that? And I'll tell you, the first answer was not reassuring. When I asked the question, can we drop less than 100 members, it was and I was like, no, that's unacceptable. If the leadership doesn't think we can do it, we'll never do it. So I asked again, can we drop fewer than 100 members? And in that moment, we said yes. So retention, retention, retention. And I'll tell you, retention starts on day one of their membership in the SAR. So you guys did an awesome job inducting new members. Retention for them begins today. Find out what their interests are, find out what their passions are, and let's get them plugged in and moving so they can start their SAR journey and find the things that make them happy with the SAR. Other things for our state. I want North Carolina to lead the nation when it comes to celebrating patriotism and those foundational principles that are contained in the Declaration of Independence. Right? We got first in freedom on our license plates. And damn it, let's make sure that we're first in freedom as far as the SAR and the DAR is concerned. And really what the nation sees when they see North Carolina is us in the forefront leading. Now we finished second in the nation overall for all societies in the nation in the Americanism contest in the President General's Cup, which is how we judge how well we are implementing the SAR's mission. We finished second to Virginia, President General Society. My goal is for 2025, when we get to the Congress next year in 2026, is we're going to unseat Virginia as #1 in the nation, and I think we can do it. I'm diligently working behind the scenes to find out how many points we missed it by. And I would encourage you to look at your Americanism scorecards, look at that report, and see areas, Tom mentioned working with veterans, or look at areas where maybe some improvement can be made, and every point, every bit of service that we do in our community, right, can go on that scorecard. And it's not just about winning, right? It's about accomplishing the mission, the purpose of the Sons of the American Revolution. And if we find places where we're deficient, let's just get somebody in charge of it and run with it. Even if I saw a thing of medals for first responders and law enforcement, military police, that sort of thing. That's something in Mecklenburg County we did really well pre-COVID, and it's been hard to get it restarted back. So I applaud everyone here. You have nearly a full roster of chapter officers and backups. That's amazing. Mecklenburg chapter's approaching 200 members, and I tell you, man, up until the last couple of years, it's been a slugfest trying to get men to step up and serve. And that's another challenge I have for each of you. None of you are too old, none of you are too young, none of you are too infirm. Right? Look at our patriot ancestors and see who signed up. We talked about teenagers signing up for the revolution. How many of you have heard of Samuel Whitmore? Anybody? Samuel Whitmore, 80 years old on April 19, 1775. The British are marching back from Lexington, or from Concord, and Samuel Whitmore says, I'm going to go out there in the front door and I'm going to fight the British. And his family's looking at him like, you're crazy, you're too old. He gets his musket, his sword, he gets 2 pistols that he acquired from a French officer in the French and Indian War. And he goes out in the front yard, and as the British column is marching by, he takes a shot. Down goes a British soldier. And he begins to reload. He takes another shot and kills another British soldier. Well, he's shooting accurately, and so they send a contingent of British soldiers to take care of this old man that's shooting at them from the front yard. He fires one more time, drops another British officer, pulls his pistols, right? They're too close to reload, he shoots 2 more. And he's drawing his sword whenever a British soldier raises his Brown Bess musket, fires a 75 caliber cannonball into his face. And Samuel Whitmore goes down. He's fumbling around trying to draw his sword still. They bayonet him 17, 18, 19 times. 80-year-old man. They leave him in a pool of his blood in the front yard. March on back to Boston. His family comes out and finds him. They put him on a door, take him in, go get the town doctor. And he looks at him and says, all right, we'll make him comfortable, but understand Samuel Whitmore is going to die. So make him comfortable. And he would die at the ripe old age of 98 years old. So I'm telling you, gentlemen, none of you are too old. I'm not asking you to get shot in the face. I'm not asking you to get bayoneted 18, 19 times. I'm asking for your time. I'm asking for your efforts. I'm asking for your talents and your passions to lead these United States from the Old North State if we've got to, kicking, screaming, dragging the rest of the country with us if we must. But we're going to celebrate this 250-year anniversary the way all Americans should. That's with patriotism, with passion, and being proud of the country that we are, but also being proud of the country that we're going to become, because we are going to rededicate ourselves to those principles as outlined in the Declaration of Independence. Right, to begin with, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among those rights are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And that to secure those rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. And if that can't be common ground in these United States in 2025, then no common ground still exists. It is up to us, you, me, every one of us, to get involved in our communities and convince our fellow citizens, convince we the people that these United States are worth it, they're worth celebrating, and they're worth preserving for the next 250 years. So that's my challenge. I know this chapter is going to rise to meet it because you always do. And Kevin, brother, I love you. When you get back to North Carolina, you will have a state society that is waiting to put your passions back to use here in the Old North State. You're not going to be a stranger. Don't forget about us here in North Carolina. So thank you very much for the invitation. I appreciate it. Be enthusiastic. Be passionate. We're Americans, for God's sakes. Let's act like it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stephen. I wish you would deliver things with a little more passion, especially this late. Thank you all for coming out tonight. I really appreciate it. It's good to see all of you. I would like to say to the new members, there's lots to do. I would like to say to some of the long-term members, if you're only doing one job, you're not doing enough.
Don't scare them.
I scared them enough. There's a reason there's a backup for almost every officer. I've scared them enough, but it is impressive that people have stepped forward as much as they have, and I really do appreciate that. So thank you all very much. Feel free to hang around. Feel free to enjoy each other's company. On the back of the program is our calendar for the coming year. Some of the people who are here will be doing presentations as the year goes by. And thank you for voting me as president. Thank you to all the officers who are willing to serve. Thank you to everyone who's here tonight. God bless you all. Good night and be safe. I'd like to ask Larry Rick knew you were here, Larry. If you would do the benediction, please. Please stand.
Amen.
And Kevin, I found it only appropriate that you should do the reception.
Please join me.
When we meet again, let us remember our obligations to our forefathers who gave us our Constitution, Bill of Rights, an independent Supreme Court, and a nation of free men and women.